The Hell in a Cell match has been known for causing many injuries to a wrestler. Ever since Mick Foley performed one of the craziest stunts in WWE history by being thrown off the top of the cell and crashing through the announcer's table below in 1998, wrestlers have used the cell to perform even more dangerous acts, trying to outdo one another by increasing the danger and not making the gimmick redundant. Over the years, we have had wrestlers go through the cell, jump off higher structures, and innovate different ways to use the cell to cause as much harm as possible against their opponent. Despite being in a PG WWE era, one would assume that WWE has cut out any stunts or dangerous acts that could cause injury to a wrestler. However, this year's Hell in a Cell proved wrong, as this pay-per-view saw a number of wrestlers suffer legitimate injuries during their matches. Some even occurred without wrestling in the cell. Number 1. Jeff Hardy. Before the pay-per-view aired, many fans were curious as to what crazy stunt Jeff Hardy would perform during his match against Randy Orton in the infamous structure, promising fans that he will do something that people will never forget. Recalling all the crazy stuff Jeff has done in the past, like swanton bomb off a 20-foot ladder, leapfrog leg drop onto an announcer's table, and not to mention performing a swanton bomb off the Raw stage, we all thought that he would do something akin to that level, but off a much higher Hell in a Cell, crashing down to the announcer's table as a homage to Mick Foley and Shane McMahon. Whilst he didn't quite go to the roof of the cell, Hardy climbed up a ladder to straddle the ceiling of the cell and drop down. But just in the nick of time, Orton managed to move himself off the table, which caused Jeff to crash down face first. While the ref added the usual theatrics of shouting for an EMT to rush to Jeff's aid, Hardy was stretchered out, with the WWE giving updates on his condition through the night, one which read, "Following his brutal Hell in a Cell match against Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy was tended to by EMTs at ringside." Kathy Kelly then reported on Instagram that Hardy complained of severe abdominal pains backstage, prompting WWE medical personnel to have him transported to a local medical facility. The injury seemed to have worsened later on, with Cole reporting that Hardy began coughing up blood while en route to the facility. Once that subsided, Kathy Kelly went on to report that Hardy would be kept overnight for further observation. Whilst the injuries in truth may have not been that severe, WWE is working an angle around his injury, as Hardy did not appear on last night's edition of SmackDown to continue his feud with the Viper. Number 2. Randy Orton. It wasn't just the charismatic enigma that suffered some injuries inside the cell, as his opponent Randy Orton also suffered a number of legitimate lacerations across his back and leg. The Viper suffered welts to the back thanks to a number of belt shots by Randy Orton, but even more gruesome, Orton took to Instagram to show a chunk of flesh that came off during the heated match. We have blurred it out just in case some are squeamish, but the link to the post is in the description below. The caption reads, "No matter the outcome, they say you lose a small piece of yourself when you enter the Hell in a Cell." Whilst Randy Orton appeared on SmackDown as his heelish self, he did not wrestle. Number 3. Dolph Ziggler. After beating the team of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins to retain the Raw Tag Team Championships, both Ziggler and Drew McIntyre ran out to the ring during the main event to help out their buddy Braun Strowman. They didn't get far, as both Ambrose and Rollins also came out to the aid of Reigns, making it a fair battle. All four battled each other at the top of the cell, and whilst Ziggler was trying to escape by coming back down, Rollins caught up, which led to the two fighting on the side of the cell, with both crashing through the announcer's table 15 feet high. While Seth Rollins is no stranger to this spot, Dolph was, and his bump through the table looked nasty. WWE released a statement after saying, "After falling off the side of the Hell in a Cell structure during Roman Reigns' Universal Championship match against Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler was looked at by WWE medical personnel, but he refused to go to a local medical facility. Instead, he left the AT&T Center with Drew McIntyre. The bump wasn't even necessary and was only added in because WWE wanted a big bump, but didn't want Strowman, Reigns or Lesnar risk doing it." Dave Meltzer explained in the latest edition of Wrestling Observer, "It had like nothing to do with the match. It was, let's do this because we don't want Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman to do a big bump. So we're going to have these two guys do a big bump in lieu of. And we're not going to give them a finish, so we're going to give them some big spot." And number 4. Alexa Bliss. Despite getting a championship rematch, Alexa Bliss failed again in trying to take down the baddest woman on the planet. With another loss, things got even worse for Bliss as she legitimately suffered an arm injury during the match. It's unclear when it happened during the match, but it seems that Bliss may be out of action for a while. Her injury has forced her to be replaced with Ember Moon for Season 2's Mixed Match Challenge. WWE released this statement. After her match against the baddest woman on the planet, Bliss began to complain of soreness on Monday before waking up with numbness in her left arm Tuesday morning. After seeking medical attention, Alexa received word that she is not cleared for WWE Mixed Match Challenge or live events this weekend. Accordingly, acting Raw General Manager Baron Corbin decided to replace the 5-time Women's Champion with Ember Moon as Strowman's tag team partner for tonight. Well guys, there you have it. 4 WWE wrestlers who suffered legitimate injuries at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.